Hi dear students, welcome to another session of forensic photography. So in this session we are going to discuss about the principles and procedures of forensic photography. So in this slide you can see the principles of and procedures of the forensic photography, and there are certain rules to be followed to obtain the proper photographs of the crime scene, and they are: first one is securing the crime scene and evaluating the conditions, shooting the scene, photographing the evidence, markers, placing the evidence markers, and use of special imaging techniques. So, in the first one, securing the scene, after the it says that after the crime has been established, the crime scene should be secured as it is, and any relocation in the scene photographed will act as strong evidence. So the duty of the first responding officer is to secure the crime scene, and no one should enter the crime scene. And also, the when while taking the photograph, you have to take the photograph as it is, and there should be not any reallocation of the evidences. And if there is any reallocation in the scene, photographed will act as a wrong evidence. So after reallocating, when we take the photograph, it will affect the entire investigation. So you have to take the photograph before any tampering, and the scene should be secured. That is the first point. And next one is evaluating conditions. So the conditions such as light and weather should be evaluated, and camera settings should be adjusted accordingly. So in this you can write the conditions such as light, weather, and camera settings should be evaluated. And next, third point is the shooting the scene. So the photographer should capture the entire scene. Here shooting the crime scene means they have to capture the entire crime scene. That is, they can use wide angle shots followed by close-up shots to visualize the full scene, to show the relationship of the evidence, to show the overall relationship of the scene. So the entire crime scene should be photographed in order to show the relationship of the evidence to the overall crime scene, and we are taking the close-up shots for to visualize the evidence in its full aspect. So there are three types of photography. One is wide angle, then close up, and one more is there, that is mid range. So there are three types. So in the wide angle you have to cover all the entire crime scene. So this is the crime scene, so in wide angle you have to cover all the crime scene. And in close up shots, if an evidence, a knife for example, a knife is there, you have to take only this one. So this is the close up shot. Or victim, you have to take the close-up photo of the victim, and in wide angle you have to cover entire scene, and in mid-range also you have to cover the evidence along with the surrounding area. So that is the three types of photography. So in the shooting crime scene you have to take the entire crime scene, that is using wide angle shots and also the close-ups and mid-range. And for next third fourth one is photographing the victims. So here, while photographing the victims, the location, condition of the victim, etc. should be highlighted. So while photographing the victims, you have to find out the location, then the injuries present on the body of the victim, and the condition of the victim, whether he is alive, whether he is dead, whether in what position he is lying, whether he is sitting, whether he is on bed. Also all these should be photographed. So that is about photographing the victims. And next is photographing the evidence. So in photographing the evidence, the photograph should be taken directly at right angles, and eliminating probable distance distortions for clear visualization, and each part of the evidence should be photographed with a scale. So here, while taking the photograph of the evidence, for example, if you are taking a photograph of knife, this is the physical evidence. So knife is the, sorry, so knife is the physical evidence here. So while taking the photo of the knife, you have to keep a scale. One scale you have to keep here in order to find out the size of the uh, physical evidence. So you have to keep a scale for measuring the size of the physical evidence, and also without scale you have to take. So while taking the photograph of the evidence, you have to take in the right angles, and also you have to keep a scale to signify the size, and without a scale to show the relationship with overall scene. So that is the photographing of evidence. And the next one is placing evidence markers. So here first shot of entire crime scene is very essential to confirm that no one has altered the crime scene. Photographer should capture the scene with and without the evidence marker. So for example, so this is the, for example, this is the crime scene. So here they are investigating the crime scene. So this is the victim, and here one evidence is there. So this you can see here a 6 board is a marker or label is placed here. So this is the evidence marker. So you have to keep this evidence marker. So before keeping this evidence marker, you have to take the photograph. So the first shot of entire crime scene is should be taken without altering anything. After that you have to keep an evidence marker also. Then you have to, the photographer should capture the scene with and without the evidence marker. So with the marker you have to take, and without the marker you have to take the entire crime scene. So that is about placing the evidence markers. So for example, this is one of the evidence. Example I am telling, this one of the evidence. So you have to keep one, that is like this board one you have to keep here, and this is the evidence number 2. So this board like this you have to keep here, and this is the evidence number 6. So here this person kept the evidence board like 6 here. So this is the evidence marker. And the last one is use of special imaging techniques. So alternate ISO such as lasers, blue or green lights, and colored filters should be used to detect fingerprints, bite marks, and footprints. And then you can take the photograph. So that is use of special imaging techniques. You can use lasers, blue or green lights, or any other colored filter in order to detect these bite marks, fingerprints, and all, or the any evidence. And then you have to take photographs. That is the use of special imaging techniques. So these are the principles and procedures of forensic photography. First one is securing the scene, then evaluating the conditions, shooting the scene, photographing the victims, photographing the evidence, placing evidence markers, and use of special imaging techniques. I hope you understood about the principles and procedures. So we will meet in the next session. Thank you.